Greetings, 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 greetings. Now, it's Labor Day weekend, the Sunday, and I'm actually here doing some labor with trying to sort out my books, because I'm a man who love books. Anything I love, me collect. So I love books, I collect books. So I decided for the longest while trying to do some spring cleaning and sort them out and things. So today happens to be the day that I finally get a chance to go through and kind of sort them out. Because them say, reading make it a man and a woman, I guess. So reading was always my thing, you know. As a poor country boy from Trelawney, that is how I went to other parts of the world. How I traveled buying books. I read everything I could put my hands on. The whole spiel, you know. I would have said 70% of my books that I've collected are in Jamaica someplace. Some of them I don't even know where they are. Borrowed or loaned out and not returned, and I have lost a lot of my stuff, my precious books. Now I have like a small collection, which I intend to will to my grandparents them, so they can hopefully them blood like my blood and get into the reading thing. So I'm going to show the some of the stuff that I have, right? So I'm going to start with some fiction, some works of fiction, right? Yeah? Like a small sketch. This one is called The Sign and the Seal, work of fiction, right? It's a very interesting book by James Michener, a novel called The Caribbean. Novel called The Caribbean, pretty interesting. Some of the stuff in there, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's a novel, but some of the things in there are historical, and you know. This one is Robert Baval, Secret Chamber. Fiction again. Right now we're going to the fiction. Dan Brown, the author of the Da Vinci Code, Origin. Robert Ludlum, the Amber Warning, very famous author Robert Ludlum. So we go through that and pull up some more fiction. James Patterson, Merry Christmas, Alex Cross. Good little, you know, and you never really want to get into too serious. Because as a creative person, I consider myself, and I play around with words, I often get creative sometimes, and sometimes it's not all historical and factual things, it is creative. So I have to go down the road one more time. Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. Lisa Sutherland, New York Times bestseller, Betrayed. Jodi Picoult, Small Great Things. Diana Diamond, The Good Sister. Robert Galbraith, Career of Evil. Don't damage yourself. John Sanford, Mortal Prey. Right, all work of fiction, that says. I got some more work of fiction. Right? Kenneth Johnson, the man of legend. Karen White, Treasure Beach. Oh, sorry, the Beach Trees. I'm sorry. Treasure Beach in my head because Calabash and poetry and them things. Those are the days. Dan Brown again, author of Da Vinci Code, The Last Symbol. Mary Alice Monroe, The Long Road Home. Nora Roberts, More Home, Going Home. Nora Roberts again, Irish Arts. As I said, these are all books, works of fiction. Sons of Liberty by Adele Griffin. Jeffrey Archer, the famous Jeffrey Archer. Sons of Fortune. This is a book I read on a cruise. Frederick Bachman. A man called Ove. Or Ove, I don't know how that's pronounced. But I read this on a cruise. Pretty interesting book. David Baldacci, The Last Mile. David Baldacci again, Stone Cold. David Gibbons, Testament. Into more fiction, Den of Thieves by James Stewart. James Patterson again, Now You See Her. More James Patterson, Cross My Heart. Ken Follett, Winter World. Winter of the World, absolutely. James Follett again, Edge of Eternity. Ken Follett again, A Column of Fire. Robert B. Parker, Death in Paradise. John Grisham, the very, very famous John Grisham, The Partner. Many of you must have read this book before or read something by John Grisham. King of Thoughts by John Grisham. And a big part of my John Grisham collection in Jamaica, because there's a bookshop in New Kingston, and next time I'm in Jamaica I'm going to visit that bookshop called The Bookshop on Lutzer Boulevard, and that's where I spend a lot of my lunch times browsing books, sports books, just books, buying books. John Grisham, The Reckoning. John Grisham, Rogue Lawyer. John Grisham, The Chamber. John Grisham, Grey Mountain. Now, one of the things that I like to do, or I credit myself for, is any subject matter that I'm interested in. Anything that I'm interested in, I like to keep myself up to date and aware and informed. And one of the things that I get into more time is religion, and pieces of a lot of people. Somebody was actually amazed that I have a copy of what's called the Holy Bible, right? I've had it for a while, from this version, 1988. It was given to me by a co-worker, and I worked at Jamaica National by the name of Derek Grant. And I think the inscription in this book, I know the inscription in this book, the writing was done by Gene Johnson, also a colleague there. And it says, to Philemon Holmes, in the hope that as you read the words contained in this book, they will help you to realize that you need Jesus Christ as a sick man need a doctor. And upon this realization, you will give your life completely into his service before it is everlastingly too late. Amos 4, verse 12. So Grant, when I reach a state, they get still. Now, so I say, I love talk about religion. I love the research. So, I cannot find right now in this collection where my copy of the Quran is, but I do own a copy of the Quran, and somewhere in the mess. But this book is The Glory of Kings, Kebron Negast. Glory of Kings, book I read a lot. This book is called Who Wrote the Bible? This one is called The Biggest Lie in the History of Christianity. Elijah Muhammad, the Muslim man, How to Eat to Live. And this I bought way back in the day from the influence of listening to KRS-One and BDP. This is a book that a lot of who argued me about Christianity and religion don't even know exists. So this is a small version of the Apocrypha. Small version of it. And it includes the Maccabees and the book of Enoch, Esdras, book of Judith. And enough people never read them book. I'm not saying I've read it from cover to cover, but it's there for reference. And enough people never read it, but yet them take me on about religion. And so this is the complete 54 books of the Apocrypha. All books, the missing books of the Bible, right there. All of what they never wanted to see where them hide from one. Where they write and hide from one, right? One of the things that I love is sports. And back in the day, I said that bookshop in New Kingston, the bookshop, was my source for football magazines. I would go there to buy 442, 90 minutes, shoot, and most importantly, World Soccer. Because if you have an argument back in the days, there was no Google for you to go Google nothing. You have no phone, no Google for check nothing. So you have to have a book to say, sit in a World Soccer. World Soccer was the Bible of football, right? So I have an extensive collection, and I have a friend who got me back a lot of my missing editions, and they are all somewhere in Jamaica. These are a few of my soccer magazines that are my football magazines that I still have. This one is called the Soccer Bible, and this is the great World Soccer. So some guys never know about them things. Right? You can't argue me about football. Never spend a dollar buy one in the book again. And when you buy the book back in the day, they're pretty expensive. Back in the day, right? 442. 442. Only for 442 will buy and World Soccer and Champions League magazines, and yeah, as I said, Shoot was a weekly magazine. 442 was a monthly, World Soccer monthly. As a matter of fact, when I worked in New Kingston, I used to take some of my lunchtime and go over to the British High Commission, go to the library, go read the daily newspapers, so we can know what go on in football. So when we talk about time, some guy coming like them think we just a way about football. A long time we in a deep coffee interest tonight, we're gonna find out about it. And talking about football, sports in general, and more so, well, I guess more so football, we read all we can read. And if we support something, we support Chelsea. The Chelsea FC Miscellany. Right? Rick Granville, the historian of the club. One Love by Robbie Earl. Robbie Earl was up on NBC, you know, and me and him disagree about some things written in this. I tell him he never understand the Jamaican culture to explain. Can never get it. But be that as it may. One of the persons that brought me out of that joint I respected was the great Jose Mourinho. So I have to read it. Another book. All the Way Jose. Right? The official biography, again by Rick Granville of Chelsea FC. Right? We read about the people that will make an impact on our lives through sports. And one such great Jamaican of Jamaican birth was the great John Barnes, who played for England. Played for England, Watford, Liverpool, and Newcastle, I think, or whoever else he played for. Interesting his autobiography. The great African Chelsea legend, great Didier Drogba. Didier Drogba. The greatest soccer player in my estimation, especially because he looked like me and influenced my people and helped us to elevate ourselves and our consciousness and our thinking. Edson Arantes, do Nascimento, the great Pele from Brazil. No wonder we love Brazil. Football. I see Nottingham Forest is back in the Premier League, and one of the great men them in the history of Nottingham Forest. The great Cloughie. The great Brian Clough. Right? And it's an interesting Cloughie walking on water. An ex-black man will go through the brink of depression and alcoholism and rape and the world. Play for the great. I'm saying the great Manchester United. I can't not say great. Historically the great. Paul McGrath, the Irish defender. Back again to the official history in pictures of Chelsea Football Club. Soccer, the game and the World Cup. This is the 1994 World Cup book. Right? We go down to Trelawney man himself. Come from Trelawney and they make him fly the flag. I am proud of him. The great Yassine. Right? Every now and then we double, you know, and we double sometimes, you know, the yoga, you know what I say? Right? You know, mind soul balance. You know? So, yeah. And then we jump sometime into different kind of autobiographies or different kind of books. These are not necessarily sports books now. But this one is a Transforming Pain to Power by Daniel Betty. And the man who make you laugh all the time, Kevin Hart. I have him on in a whole heap of different things at the same time. I can't make this up by Kevin Hart. Now, one of the things that I like to do is to delve into the things that I like. And one of the things that I like is poetry. So, I'm going to pull up on you some poetry collection. And from the late 80s, early 90s, we go through Ilanya Van Zandt. So this book is called Act of Faith, and we have the book here from the early 90s, right? Early 90s. Black Pearl, Daily Meditations and Affirmations by Eric Kopech. Every day I used to read I read a page and try to live and try to adapt what it's saying. But then into poetry, I go through a lot of great poets. And one of the poets who was made an indelible mark on me is Khalil Gibran. I have many books by him. Sand and Foam. I can't find the cover for this. Prophet, Madman, Wanderer. The Garden of the Prophet. And I think we have some more stuff by him. Well, this is a great, maybe the greatest that he's most known for, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. So your children are not your children. They come to you, but they're not from you. This one is called Visions of the Prophet by Khalil. Dramas of Life, Lazarus and His Beloved and the Blind by Khalil Gibran. A Tear and a Smile, can you see that? By Khalil Gibran. The Beauty of Life, again by Khalil Gibran. And some people saw me reading from the treasured writings of Khalil Gibran recently. Yeah, we have a whole heap of writings from Khalil Gibran. Right? I support my virgin them, and I have a whole heap of virgin who are poets and I write them books, you know. Chulani man, Kukumo. Pipe Dreams by Kukumo, my virgin. Right? Dub Truth, again by Kukumo, my virgin. You have a virgin where play ball in me from Portmore. He might have a good comrade. Juvie, Eval. Recently published his first book, you know, and naturally we support a virgin and hold a copy and book. You see me? Langston Hughes, very famous American writer. All kind of things said about him, but the poetry I deal with. I have a copy of him, a collection of his poetry. You know, collected poems of Langston Hughes. And the greatest Jamaican poet, in my estimation, Louis Bennett. This book named Auntie Roach is Say, edited by Mervyn Morris. Mervyn Morris is a great writer too. Right? And this book came out in the 70s, I think. Pretty hard to find a copy of it today, and extremely expensive. Jamaica Labrish by Louise Bennett, forwarded by Rex Nettlefold. Great book. I must have if you're into Jamaican thing. Right? And yeah, we delve into well of black issues. Black is our story. This is The Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. Medical Apartheid. Joy DeGruy, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. And then we go to a whole heap of historical black figures and their writings and their books. And Elijah Cleaver, I'm the Black Panther. So nice. So nice. I've had owned more than one copies of it. Virgin have a copy of Read and one. Thanks to me, owns it. Harriet Jacobs, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. Grab a copy if you can. Black Spirituality and Black Consciousness. Black Spirituality and Black Consciousness. So you've heard of the 48 Laws of Power, which I do have a copy of. 48 Laws of Power. A very, very interesting book to read. Robert Greene. But how many persons know that there is a spin-off? The 48 Laws of Black Empowerment. 48 Laws of Black Empowerment. Does exist. Oluda Equiano, Gustavus Vassa, the African, the life. Great man, great man. Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust by John Henrik Clark. Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust. You hear them talk all the time about Uncle Tom? This book is Uncle Tom's Caveat. Now, if you read about it, Uncle Tom Caveat, you'll get a different perspective on the whole Uncle Tom thing. I wonder how the correlation don't really connect, you know. So, something kind of off, right? But go grab a copy. The great Walter Rodney. I have a book named How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. Walter Rodney, great man. The narrative of the lives of Frederick Douglass, the American. The Soul of Black Folks by W.E.B. Du Bois. Again, another black leader from them times. 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro with Complete Proof. Sojourner Truth. Women Who Shape History. Early about abolish. That word, I cannot give me a little break now. I give me a hard time. Abolitionist. Joan Mattern. Right? Sometimes someone can word twist your tongue at the wrong time. Booker T. Washington. Up from slavery. The narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass. Didn't we pass this before? Do I have 2 copies of this book? It looks like I have this book twice. It looks like I have this twice. Nothing wrong with that still. You know? And I think we have The Soul of Black Folks already too. By W.E.B. Du Bois. So again, 2 copies of it. I have 2 grand picnics still, so it work anyway. The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. And again, I have 2 copies of it. But again, I have more than 1 grand penny. See? The Original Black Elite, Daniel Murray, and the Story of a Forgotten Era. The Original Black Elite. And then we go to some life and some stories, some autobiography of some of the greats. The autobiography of the great Malcolm X. One of the men I admire a lot, Patrice Lumumba of the Congo, Africa's last leader. I got this little gift out of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, Vision and Tragedy. There's a man where my view is kind of, a little bit about him. But I said, when he lock up, me my biggest supporter. And when he get released, I kind of did think a little bit different, but it's what it is. Still respect him. Nelson Mandela speeches. intensified the struggles to abolish apartheid. And then the great long walk to freedom. Yep. You know, I guess the same way. And the words of Martin Luther King Jr. Right? Great man too. Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. One of the greatest Jamaican ever. Right? One of the greatest. It's a bookmark and I'm going to drop out there. See? Have I read all of these books? Cover to cover now. Most of them. But they are there for reference. Selected writings and speeches of Marcus Garvey. My Life and Ethiopia's Progress, Volume 1. The autobiography of Emperor Haile Selassie, the first Kings of Kings and Lords of Lords. Very interesting story because the life of His Imperial Majesty is not as some people make it look, or that's some rest of that tell you. It is deeper. If you dig deep, you might go, oh, you know? So it's always interesting to go dig deep and to find out who's saying what they're saying and why they're saying what they're saying. But, you know, kind of complicated. And then we look on some books where I've read more than one time and keep reading over and over and over. A few of them. Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach is one of those books that I've read. I can't count how many times I've read this book. Not this necessarily this copy, but I've had this book since the 90s again. Very interesting book to read. I encourage everybody to grab a copy of this. You're a Badass. How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living in Awesome. Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass. #1 bestseller by Spencer Johnson. Who Moves With My Cheese. John Miguel Ruiz, The 4 Agreements. John Miguel Ruiz, The Fifth Agreement. A book I read in high school in my literature class, and think I need to have keep a copy of this book at all times. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Part of my literature studies in high school. Another one that formed part of my literature studies in high school, and then during my sojourn into politics, it's kind of showed me its extent into politics. And when I was reading this in the early 80s or late 70s, I didn't even know it was that political. George Orwell, Animal Farm. It's a book that I got by chance. Asperger's in Love. Right? Julia A. Berlin, We Are All the Same in the Dark. It's a novel. It's a novel, but good book to read. We're all the same in the dark. Jamaica Inn. This book called Jamaica Inn, but hey, it's not even about Jamaica. But yeah, I grabbed a read of it. Walter Mosley, The Awkward Black Man. Awkward Black Man. Another great piece of literature that I read is Un Momento. Alright, we'll get back to that. I'm sorry. Another great book that I read, part of my collection, is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Right? The African. George Bernard Shaw, Pygmalion. Songs of Solomon by Toni Morrison. Great writer. I think a friend gave this book to me. The Color of Water, a Black Man's Tribute to His White Mother by James McBride. Color of Water. A Jamaican classic, Children of Sisyphus by Orlando Patterson. Huh? And we have a few left. I'll bring these up. So, it's kind of sentimental away still. So this is my high school Knox annual gala in Toronto 2019. That's not the program for the function. Some American politics. Higher Loyalty by James Comey. Bob Woodard book on number 45, Fear. We have a book about the Juice Man, Power of Juicing. And I am from Trelawney, and Falmouth is the capital of Trelawney, so I cite a book says The Rise and Fall of Falmouth, Jamaica, 1665 to 1945. Falmouth. And then we have a book, Jamaica, a pictorial book, Jamaica by Ear. Interesting pictures, you know? And we also love music, you know? And this is a program from a concert I attended in Monty Alexander, the great Jamaican Monty Alexander. And this is called the Encyclopedia of Reggae, Golden Age of Roots Reggae. The Encyclopedia of Reggae. Eh? I love music, crazy, you know. 20 years of Rolling Stone, what a long, strange trip it's been. 20 years of Rolling Stone. Huh? This is nothing music, but just something that grabbed me. Life, strange but true. 100 of the world's most weirdest wonders. Mystery solved, hoaxes revealed. And one of those cricketers or sportsmen that I respect is the Jamaican Michael Oldham. And this book is Why We Kneel, How We Rise. Now, so the era that I find that's taken over a lot of my life, and it's politics. But before we get to the politics of the politics, I once attended an event downtown Kingston. This was 2007, and they gave out this program. It was the Ancestral Funeral Rites Ceremony in observance of the 200th anniversary of the abolition of the transatlantic trade in Africans, our freedom journey, honoring our ancestors. And you often will see me going down to the beach honoring some ancestors who blood and fight and struggle mix up in all of these oceans. You know what I say? So, now, into the politics of the politics. Can democracy work? A short history of a radical idea from ancient Athens to our world by James Miller. Can democracy work? It has to work, my friend. Our apostle politics. Way back we go. Thomas C. Holt, The Problems of Freedom. The Problem of Freedom. Race, Labor, and Politics in Jamaica and Britain, 1832 to 1938. Now, 1938 is a very interesting, very important year for me. Alright? I'm kind of sentimental, I'm collecting. So this is the 73rd annual conference report of the PNP, September 2011. The People's National Party, Progressive, Strong and Ready. 2011 conference magazine. Towards decolonization. And you have heard of the famous, the 3 H's, the art, the 3 H's in the PNP. So this is Richard Hart. Towards decolonization. PNP, Salwa. Richard Hart again. From occupation to independence, a short history of the people of the English-speaking Caribbean region. Richard Hart. Richard Hart step again and said, slaves who abolished slavery, blacks in rebellion. Virgin said to me one time, so you shouldn't be slaves, but hey, and that Richard Hart say, and that Richard Hart will, I don't leave it alone. And the lady woman from Woodall was been in the news recently, Portia James. I have a few copies of that, right? I already had a book, referred to a book by Walter Rodney, and says, great Walter Rodney, great indeed. The Groundings is my brethren by Walter Rodney. Man who was declared persona non grata by the Jamaican government. By Politics in Jamaica by Anthony Payne. Notice the colors. Land of My Birth by Leroy Coke, and this is an historical sketch of the first 40 years of People's National Party of Jamaica. Leroy Coke. Cook. Land of My Birth. The Challenges of Change. P.J. Patterson Budget Presentations, edited by Delano Franklin. My Political Journey, Jamaica 6th Prime Minister P.J. Patterson. And this copy was actually autographed by P.J. to Comrade Phil Holmes. Respect. This is the orientation program for members of the People's National Party on political education lessons, the Vernon Arnett School. A lot of people don't know them things exist, so you know a copy of it. Anyway. So this is a book, Remembering Norman Manley, National Hero, founding member and first president of the People's National Party. That is apt description of what it is. Now this book was given to me and autographed in 2008 by none other than Comrade Daniel Buchanan, long live his memory. It says, Phil Holmes, a comrade for the future. Future was the next day after this, not Comrade D. Buchanan. So every other day, tomorrow is the future all the time. Next minute is the future, but get what I say. It's the 75th annual conference magazine, and we have two versions of it, one in color and one in black and white. 75th anniversary conference of the PNP. Conference magazine. Honor our past, a powerful foundation for today and tomorrow. Speaker's Guide, issued in election 2002. The principles and objectives of the People's National Party. The Caribbean Court of Justice by Sheldon MacDonald, a very well-known comrade. Democratic Socialism in Jamaica, the political movement and social transformation in independent capitalism. Evelyn Uber Stevens and John D. Stevens. Jamaica Independence, Essays on the Early Days. Omar Davis, Michael Witter, Edwin Jones, Gladstone E. Mills, Maxine Henry Wilson, Jimmy Carnegie, Henry Lowe, Rex Nettleford, Errol Miller, Carl Stone, Erna Bradburn, Don Mills, and it's edited by Rex Nettleford. As I said, reading maketh a man, and ultimately a woman. Now, we step to some books where that referred to Manlies, right? Refer to Manlies in various different ways. Lawyer Manley, Volume 1, First Time Up, by Jackie Ranston. I think this is the most treasured books. It's Selected Speeches and Writings, 1938 to 1968 by Norman Manley. It's called Manley and the New Jamaica. Edited with notes and introduction by Rex Nettleford. It's a really, really awesome book. You ought, if you're interested in politics, you ought to have a copy of this book. Must have. Michael Manley and Democratic Socialism. Political Leadership and Ideology in Jamaica. Cheryl L.A. King. Comrade Beverly Manley has been in the news recently. And I like some of the stuff that I'm hearing. And this is the Manley's Memoirs. I think I'm going to take this to Jamaica and try to get it autographed. This book is called Michael Manley, the Biography by Godfrey Smith. This book, Truth Be Told, Michael Manley in Conversation by Glenn Manley, former wife, or maybe the last wife of Michael Manley. Michael Manley and Jamaican Democracy, 1972 to 1980. The Word is Love by FSJ Legister. Michael Manley and Jamaican Democracy. This book is called Jumblier, Memories of a Jamaican Child by Rachel Manley, daughter of Michael Manley. This is Manley and the Politics of Jamaica, towards an analysis of political change in Jamaica by Rex Netterford. Now this is a very interesting book. It's called The Candidate by Douglas Manley. It's a novel, so it's supposed to be a fictitious book. But when you read this and you understand the inner working of the PNB, you know that this is not even fictitious at all. And everybody, I think, who is going up for a challenge, internal challenge to be selected for something, councillor, whatever you're going to be, you need to read this book. You need to read this book first. And when I got this book was actually autographed to somebody else. And I did verify the writings in there, and it was verified that it's authentically autographed by the late Douglas Manley, the candidate. Michael Manley, Putting People First. Delano Franklin. Edited by Delano Franklin. Michael Manley, The Making of a Leader by Darrell E. Levi. Where my bookmarkers is falling out. Right? No. The cream of the crop and the last part of the book I'm August is those books written directly by the great Michael Manley. And if you have these books, you should treasure them because they're rare books and hard to find. So this is the history of West Indies cricket. This is the paperback. And for some strange reason, I have both the paperback and the hardback, right? History of West Indies cricket. Introduction by Clive Lloyd. And then to go to the books of Michael, I'm sorry. Up the Down Escalator. Boyas, eat your heart out. Up the Down Escalator. Michael Manley, A Voice at the Workplace. The Poverty of Nations, Reflection on Underdevelopment and the World Economy. Michael Joshua Manley. The Search for Solution, Boyas, me have to talk. The Search for Solutions. Michael Manley, Jamaica, The Struggle in the Periphery. There you go. The Politics of Change. Michael Manley. And so we have the entire works, I think, of Michael. Now, to go with that, we have a few little DVDs where we kind of treasure. Some of them we can't find, and we don't know who take them out with them there. But I try to find all they come and rockers, and I don't know which part, who have them or them. We just can't find them. I don't know who take them. But this is one of the things I used to like a lot. Deaf Poetry Jam DVD. I used to like Deaf Poetry Jam, Deaf Comedy Jam, the whole thing. This is season 1. This is season 2, and I cannot find this is season 3, and I don't know what season 2 is. What else we have also? Something about Beckham, football. We love football, so we watch anything we can watch, we're not biased. Bill Maher is a man I'm respecting thinking. So Be More Cynical by Bill Maher. We have some movie we'll watch more time, just for watch movie to see our culture. Il Divo, Italian movie. Righteous Kill, whatever that is. Watch that. Beyond Reasonable Doubt, good movie, I think. And then we have Historical Opportunity, Historical Responsibility. General Election 2002, PJ Patterson Speaks. Huh? Yeah. And then we have some DVD that make all for sense to win, and I will hold them there. Ghost of Stonehenge. Reconstruction, America After the Civil War by Louis Gates. Alright? African Americans. Again, this is by Louis Gates. Alright? And them thing I never watch them thing, you know. Interestingly. Civilizations. Civilizations. Louis Gates again, blacks in Latin America. This is very interesting. Because some countries can kill you out and they exist no more. But hey, we were there. And we're still there. Barack Obama, the people of the election of Barack Obama. And I hope sometimes we listen to watch some music out. So we love music. And Jeffrey Osborne is one of the greats, R&B greats. Black America since Martin Luther King, and Still I Rise. Again, Henry Louis Gates. My Congo. PBS, My Congo. Good thing to watch. Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers, yeah. From back in the days, yeah. The now infamous Will Smith. £10. I think it's called £10, yeah. Movie called Endgame. Endgame. Forrest Whitaker, Last King of Scotland. And Africa Great Civilizations. I love this DVD set. You know, I have about 2 CDs in there. You know, and really explain a whole heap of things I'm going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? You have to accept it, but it open your mind, force you to think outside of the box and say and question something. If you don't question, if you don't question, you can't find answers. Africa's Great Civilization. Henry Louis Gates. No, that's it. But we have. It's alright. That's what I thought out. So I hope I would have inspired somebody to go grab a copy of one of those books, and read, because I'm saying all the time, reading maketh a man or a woman, and a woman or a man or a woman. And reading was the planes that I took when I couldn't afford to even go on a car. I took those planes to go to other lands, to experience other cultures. So reading made me. So hey, I read some book now and check out something, and don't listen to what people tell you. And sometimes go find out things yourself, and don't just sit down and check by your phone, because you don't know who is the right one. Hey, when you read books, you have to first find out who are the author before you read the book and start quote the book. But anyway, it's a long video this. So it's a one love, one art, one destiny. Blessings.